this is the arena. Okay, the reason why we are here in the arena is because I'm going to let you pick the best card out of the 3 for standard, and I'm going to tell you whether or not you're right, wrong, or close, because depending, it might be really close depending on the cards. The reason why I'm doing this is because normally when I do these videos, I have a very curated thought process. I pick the cards in order so I can mind game you and make you feel like an idiot because I told you that this card's good, etc., bring up the Yeti incident.
Or I can mastermind it and be a genius. That
could happen. That could happen. This way, I have nothing to do with the cards that are going to be shown to you. This is entirely up to what Hearthstone wants to show you, and I will do my absolute best to tell you what the best card in standard was. So this is the draft format for Magic, but don't consider this as draft. You're just rating the cards as they would be in standard. The first decision you have is the class you want to do this with, because the class that you do this with in Hearthstone, right? It's not like Magic where you can put any color you want. Hearthstone, there are class specific cards.
Oh man. So I remember that Druid is busted. So just rating everything as busted and playable sounds like a thing, but I'm also not much of a green mage. I remember that Warrior is all over the place, and that, you know, they have cards like Brawl to clear the board, but they also have like a bunch of interesting little minions, and that they can be control, they can be other things. But my heart is a mage. Like I'm a blue mage through and through. Like the first thing I thought for sure was to go mage.
So we're going to do mage. All right. So I'm going to click this. So this is the only legendary choice you're going to get throughout the entire, I'm going to call it the run, even though we're not doing an arena run together. So you'll never see any other legendaries here. I have some really interesting ones. It's also important to note here that neutral cards can be shown with mage cards. They're not just only mage or only neutral. It's the way that they do this is like, I think it's based on how good the card is in arena, but again, arena is much different than what standard was. So I'm not too worried about it. What card do you think is the best one? You can go through.
Oh, good. I haven't been on the channel in a minute. I want everyone out there to know I know that minions are not spells. I know, and I have no excuse for moments when I might forget, okay? He's only told me 1,000,000 times. I love the people out there defending me. Rarran should have told. Nope, I know. Malygos. Malygos the Spellweaver is 9 mana for a 4/12 dragon. With Battlecry, draw spells until your hand is full. Dude, does it draw minions? Flint Firearm. 2 mana for a 2/3 Battlecry. Get a random quick draw card. If you play it this turn, repeat this. Quick draw. A bonus if this entered your hand this turn.
So Flint Firearm is from the previous expansion Showdown the Badlands. And because it's like a Western theme, it's almost like a quick draw effect that if you get it, the turn it's in your hand, it does something arguably better depending on what the card is. I would say on average, the average quick draw card is pretty decent as long as you do get the quick draw effect, which is the point of Flint. So the goal here would be like you play this on 10 mana, you get a quick draw card, then you play that card, you get another quick draw card because you want to keep playing as many cards as you can to utilize that quick draw effect.
Can you give me an idea of like how much quick draw cards cost? Because in my head, they should be like 1 or 2 mana.
To be honest with you, it's very varied. I would say most of them are around 1, 2, or 3. Okay. But there is a 6 mana one that you can get from this randomly. There is a 4 mana one that you can get from this randomly. It is varied. It's a little varied.
That makes me really... You can low roll pretty hard with this if you play it. Commander Sivara, 4 mana, 3/5 Naga Battlecry. If you've cast 3 spells while holding this, add those spells back to your hand.
Okay.
That's nutty.
Is it?
It sounds nutty. It's 4 mana for a 3/5 draw 3 would be busted. The trick is, can you get this in your opening hand? I mean, you just like, you get the mulligan, so you get 2 looks for it. Then if you draw it in the first few turns, I mean, like, I feel like you can do that. I feel like that's a doable thing. I think I'm ready. I think that Malygos is cool, but if you spend 9 mana on a 4/12, fill up your hand and the opponent just kills it or kills your face, that you are a sad panda. I think it's too much. Commander, I think that it's a bad top deck, and I think that holds it back. Otherwise, it is a pretty sick card. There might be some cool things you can do with it. Probably a good card. I am scared of the low floor of I draw this when I really need to draw a playable, and that's what I draw. Ugh. And then Flint Firearm, I think I can see it kind of chaining off. I can see it being an amazing top deck in the late game. It's not terrible in the early game. The quick draw cards sound like the discount is actually really good. And it's also the newest. And if we know anything about power creep, new is busted, old is dinosaur. I'm no boomer when it comes to Hearthstone. I'll take Flint Firearm.
Pretty good analysis from Malagos, by the way. Malagos, unfortunately, is a pretty slow card. Flint Firearm, one of the most played neutrals currently in the game. It is just good. Like, if you need to fill out your deck with a 29th to 30th card, he is great. Commander Savara did see play. She was in a Naga Mage deck because Naga Mage had a card. I forget what it is. David, put it on screen. It's like Siren something.
David, put the card that I forget what it is on the screen, David.
Splash something Siren, I think is what it was called. And the concept of that card was when you play a spell, you get mana back. And then when you play a Naga, you get mana back. And it kept swapping every single time you played a spell in a Naga. So you could go for a really wacky wombo combo with a card with Commander Savara. Even though she wasn't the most important card, she was good in that specific deck. And that was a very, very good deck in the metagame. If you put a gun to my head, I'm going to give it to Flint, because I do think Flint is a more important card currently in the metagame that it is in. But I think one of the best parts of this video for me is going to be reading the comments and people telling me that I am wrong because Naga Mage is a very good deck. All right, your next 3 cards. Oh, this is so much more difficult for me. I should have done this.
Okay, let's do it. Imprisoned Vile Fiend. This is a 2-mana 3/5. Demon, dormant for 2 turns, rush. I remember this. Dormant, it doesn't do anything for 2 turns.
Yes.
And then rush is it can attack a minion that turn.
Yep.
Costumed Singer is 1 mana 1/1. At the end of your turn, draw a secret. I remember what secrets are. Okay. So this is just nice friendly value. Got it. Tar Creeper is a 3 mana 1/5 elemental with taunt. It has +2 attack during your opponent's turn. During your opponent's turn. Oh God. This was in my really bad mage deck.
Was it?
my free-to-play mage deck, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now as well, because I'm sure people are going to ask. They brought this card back to the core set this year. I'm gonna count it of when it was actually in standard, like when the card came out. This is an older card, but when it was in standard, that's what I'm gonna be comparing it to, the other two.
Tar Creeper's the boomer pick. I just said I'm not a boomer, but I do have fond memories of putting out a Tar Creeper for the 1 week I played Hearthstone, which was apparently around 2017.
There you go. That was a good time to be playing. That's one of my favorite expansions.
I mean, I love good value. Like a 1 mana 1/1 that draws any kind of card would be good in Magic, even if the card was just a stupid rectangle. There are so many cards in Magic that let you like discard a card to draw a card, or basically use a card in your hand as something, which makes me think the Singer is quite good. The art is so obnoxious. The Imprisoned Vile Fiend, obviously rate good. How relevant is a 3/5 on turns like 4 and 5, later? And how bad is it to top deck this? My heart is with Tar Creeper, but I'm going to take the Costume Singer because just a 1 mana get another piece of something, get another card that does something is just... My value brain loves this.
Every one of these cards did see play. Here's a Vile Fiend, I think was playable in standard, and people did play it in slower decks because it actually turned out a 2 mana 3/5 with dormant for 2 turns isn't the worst thing in the world. Costume Singer came out as a 1 mana 2/1, and I have it on my second channel reviewing these cards that I said it was broken. Like, I think it was a disgusting card. And at 1 mana 2/1, my God, that card was disgusting. But they nerfed it to a 1 mana 1/1. Tar Creeper, this card was nuts in Journey to Un'Goro. Really, really good against aggro decks. It was almost a staple in every single mid-range to slow deck because of the fact that it would be able to trade up to almost 2 minions guaranteed. But like, based on the metagame, I think Tar Creeper was more impactful to compare to the 1 mana 1/1 Costume Singer.
Okay. I was playing Busted before I knew what Busted was. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Good for Tar Creeper. Hey, remember back when stats and text mattered and not just more rectangles? Don't say that. It
makes me sad, man.
But Magic goes through this too. Like there was once upon a time you could look at a Chillwind Yeti raid and be like, that's my boy.
Chillwind again, he's gonna haunt your life forever.
Hey, I played Mesa Falcon, okay? I understand just a legit text box.
I got you. Oh my dude, this is gonna be insanely interesting what you picked here.
Oh my god, what? Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I did this.
Ogre Gang Outlaw is a 3-mana 4/4 with rush, 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy. What's the wrong enemy? What does that mean?
Okay, so
who's the wrong enemy? There's only one, right?
Okay. If there is no minions on board for your opponent and you hit face, that is the only enemy on board. So therefore it will only hit face. If there's a minion on board in your opponent's face and you want to target face, there's a 50% chance that that attack will attack something randomly that is not the opponent's face, and therefore it would attack the minion instead.
It still has to punch a taunt minion, right? It doesn't
technically
ignore
speaking,
that.
if you have to target the taunt minion, but it will attack something else 50% of the time.
What? So it can this gets around taunt. Busted.
Technically, yes. Technically, yes.
This has a 50% chance of avoiding taunt. Okay. Chaos Creation is a 6-mana spell that says fell on it for a reason that I'm sure you'll enlighten me on at some point. And it deals 5 damage. Summon a random 5-cost minion. Destroy the bottom 5 of your deck. What? Rustrot Viper, a 3-mana 3/4 beast, which is tradable, and has Battlecry destroy your opponent's weapon. Ooh. Okay.
So tradable is you could drag this card over your deck, spend 1 mana and shuffle it back into your deck and draw a card.
Oh, back into your deck.
So
I was
that
Magic
is,
that's like cycling, but that sounds that sounds way better than cycling.
It is basically cycling, but it makes these tech cards just generally better because they don't feel as awful drawing them into a deck that you don't need it for.
Interesting. The Viper. I really like entering the battlefield to destroy a weapon. That's pretty cool. I bet that did see play. The question is probably not did it, it's how much. Chaos Creation, definitely 2 cards in 1. 5 damage for 6 is a meh rate, but will probably kill something important. It can also go face. A random 5-cost minion. That's not from your deck. That's from like Hearthstone.
Yeah, just randomly, not from your deck. Yeah, just from the ethos. Yeah.
I mean, they're busted ones and there are trash ones. You just don't know. The idea of like swerving taunt is so probably niche, but at the same time, like gets the blood pumping. I'm sure the Viper saw play if weapons were good at any point while it was around. Chaos Creation, I'm not sure if it saw play at all. I am sure people played Ogre Gang Outlaw. Whether it was right or not might have taken a while to figure it out, but I am sure that this saw play. Give me the Ogre Gang Outlaw.
Chaos Creation was nerfed. This is the nerf version of it. It was it used to say 6 for all of them. It used to say deal 6, summon a random 6 cost, and destroy the bottom 6 cards of your deck. Rustrot Viper, which I'm going to count as during United in Stormwind, did not see a ton of play, but was playable throughout its entire time when it was in Standard. And it was actually such a well-designed card. I think it's a really well-designed card. They brought it back to the core set when this card rotated. Ogre Gang Outlaw is the worst card here.
No.
That being said,
my boy.
How
do they not realize?
Okay, so when he was brought to the game, there is actually a whole bunch of Ogre Gang boys. That card individually is like okay in Standard. Like doesn't feel awful to play it, but it's definitely not the greatest card. There is a legendary called Kingpin Pud, which says resurrect your Ogre Gang and give them Wind Fury and Rush.
Yes.
So
let's go.
Actually, they already have Rush. Why would they have Rush? Give them Wind Fury. So basically what happened is you play your Ogre Gang Outlaws, you play Kingpin Pud after they all died, you summon a board again, your Ogre Gang Outlaws, and then if you're playing the rogue class, you shadow step it back to your hand so you can do that again the following turn, and now your opponent has to deal with all these Ogre Gang Outlaws. Remember when I just told you like I had an OTK with this card? It's because of Kingpin Pud allowing me to get Wind Fury on these Ogre Gang Outlaws so they can all go face.
It sounds to me like you're telling me it's busted. What are you trying to do here?
It was only good because of the metagame that was developing at the start of an expansion. As soon as people really realized that like there's way better stuff than this card didn't see any play. I have to give it to Viper while it was in Standard. This one has a clear winner. I'm just gonna let you know.
Triple-Wick Trickster is 4 mana for a 2/3 elemental with Battlecry. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy 3 times? 2 damage to a random enemy 3. Okay. South Sea Deckhand is 1 mana for a 2/1 pirate that has charge while you have a weapon equipped. Not very good against the Viper now, is it?
It's not.
4 and Footman is a 4 mana 2/5 taunt. Adjacent minions are immune while attacking. That's interesting that you put that with, like, you know, some of your cheaper drops and they can attack with immunity for a while until this taunt gets killed. It's hard to grade a 1 mana 2/1 that might have charge.
I will say this. The rogue hero power is a guaranteed weapon for 2 mana. Guaranteed.
Okay. Yes.
I will
remember.
also say there are a lot of classes in this game that do get cheap weapons that will utilize this effect.
Okay. Sounds like proper gaslighting. Because Triple Wick Trickster is stupid. 4 mana 2/3 battle cry, 2 damage to a random enemy 3 times. I mean, it might just kill something tiny. It might kill something amazing.
Yeah, okay.
But then you've got that Footman. Oh man, how good is that? It seems like a really good turn 4 play. Like, it protects your board. You know, if you play a good 2, you play a good 3, then you play this. You drop it in the middle, and those 2 can just kind of crush the opponent's board. Like, how are they going to get rid of the Footman? You, in theory, could have 2 minions just gunning down their board. Then there's 1 mana 2/1. Like, we play 1 mana 2/1s with downside in Magic. That's how much people want those. You said there was a clear winner. I feel like the Trickster, the potential to, like, there's a downside, right? You hit the wrong thing, but, like, you still might hit the face for 6. It's really good. And a 1 mana 2/1 seems okay, but just any 1/1 can come over and take it out. Give me the Trickster. I just got a feeling it's the Trickster.
Okay, I'll start with Footman because you're focusing on that one the most. This card, again, just added into the standard format. I think I may have seen it once, but yeah, it's a good call to realize that, like, just because it does something really impactful in minion-based combat doesn't mean that Hearthstone really focuses on minion-based combat for the most part. This card really hasn't found its place yet. Triple Wick Trickster, a card that was also just added, I don't think I've seen once.
Damn it.
Southsea Deckhand, my good sir, has charge. Well, you have a weapon equipped. Charge is the most powerful keyword in Hearthstone. So that's for the future, by the way, in case you're curious. This card by a landslide was the best card here. This card synergizes in a bunch of different ways with different classes across Hearthstone's history in order to basically kill your opponent in 1 turn. Very aggressive, very easy to kill your opponent with it. It is a 1 mana 2/1, but there are ways to buff a 1 mana 2/1, right? Really, really good card.
All right. Really good aggro-y / combo-y card. Okay.
Really good.
Yeah, I can see it. It's Jackal Pups. That's what we have in Magic. 1 mana 2/1s. They just get play.
Oh my God. Okay.
Line Dance Partner is a 3 mana 3/2 battle cry. If you're holding another 3-cost card, summon a random 3-cost minion. Ooh. Troll Centurion is 8 mana for an 8/8 rush. Honorable kill. Deal 8 damage to the enemy hero. What's honorable kill? What's this mean?
Honorable kill.
Wait, let me guess.
You go for it.
It died attacking another minion?
No.
Okay.
Somewhat close. Honorable kill is you do the exact amount of damage the opponent's the thing you're attacking's life is. So in order for you to get the honorable kill here, it has to do 8.
It has to do exactsies.
Yep. There's the actual.
Okay. No BM. This is how they got BM out of the game. This is.
Yeah. Actually, it caused more because then people would be like, "Oh, I actually got the honorable kill, idiot."
I bet it did. All right. Trench Surveyor is 1 mana for a 2/1 mech with Battle Cry and Dredge. If it's a mech, draw it.
Dredge is you look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck and you get to pick your next draw. You don't draw it, you get to pick your next draw. But in this case, if it is a mech, you do draw it.
So a chance at a 1 mana 2/1 draw a card if you're in a mech deck.
Well,
that's what I'm seeing.
1 mana 2/1, pick your next draw from the bottom 3 cards of your deck. But if it is a mech, draw the card.
Yeah. So really high upside on the Line Dance Partner that if you have an awkward curve of picking which 3-drop to play, you get 2 3-drops. One's random, which, you know, there are good ones and there are bad ones, as we've seen. 8 mana for an 8/8 rush. And then with Exactsies, 8 damage to the enemy hero. Obviously, if you they play an 8 thing and you smash this into it, you are feeling like a master. Is 8 toughness the meta? Is 8 health the meta, right? That's That's the question on this card. Trench Surveyor is a 1-mana 2/1 with a chance at drawing a card, and worst case scenario, you set your draw. I'll go with the Trench Surveyor. It just seems like the high upside card.
Okay, so Line Dance Partner is a really good card in Arena. Like it's pretty nuts. The fact that you can get it out of the random 3-cost card is really a lot of stats for 3. Standard, unfortunately, stats aren't everything. You'd rather have a good card with a good effect rather than just blanket stats. And yeah, maybe you do high roll with a 3-drop, but most of the time it's not worth it. You'd rather have a consistent good effect. The Troll, I think it did see slight play in Wild or in Standard. Sorry, I can't remember how good it actually was, but that probably tells you how good it actually was. It wasn't great. Trench Surveyor is the best card here, but the time I'm going to speak about it when it was actually a 2-mana 3/2. They buffed it like right before its rotation for some reason because they thought like, oh, maybe Mech Mage would be good again. It wasn't. But during the time it was added to the game, Voyage into the Sunken City, Mech Mage was a real deck that was actually competitive and it did pretty well. Okay, this will be fun.
Oh no. I hate it. I hate it when he says that. Life Sentence is 4 mana for a spell that says remove a minion from the game. Oh, I love it. Let's go. Chill One Yeti, dead on curve. Easy.
There you go.
Flame Ward is a 3-mana secret. After a minion attacks your hero, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Ooh. Saronite Tulver, 4-mana 3/5 taunt. Whenever this is attacked, draw a card. Dude, this is an interesting group.
Yeah, this is good.
Did they get a death rattle effect if this card is played?
Life Sentence?
Yes.
No, they do not. It is white.
Yeah. Okay. That's exile, baby.
It really is. Yeah, that's actually what it is.
I feel like the Saronite Tulver, based on how the things are going right now, might be more of like a limited card because yeah, maybe you remove this without attacking it so they don't get any cards. Flame Ward, man, one appealing card. Oh, you want to play a whole board of minions? You want to attack my face? Burn them to the ground. I love it. I love it. This is such a... God, it's such a me card. So Life Sentence is like my safe pick, just exile a thing. I'm positive this gets played somewhere somehow, but I'm going with my heart. I'm going with Flame Ward. I want to make them suffer. I love the fact that this is even in the game. Yeah, give me the Flame Ward. Okay, so I'll start with Saronite. Yeah, it's not great in Standard. I don't think I've ever seen it get played. The fact is that there's just way better taunt cards and there's way better cards that draw. So it's weird that you thought Life Sentence is a good card because I think most people looked at this card and said whatever, and it is a whatever card. I didn't pick the Life Sentence though. Tell me about Flame Ward. So Flame Ward was a really good mage secret. Really good mage secret. In fact, I would probably say it's near the top of like all-time mage secrets. The thing is that so in the beginning in classic Hearthstone, I didn't show you this card, but maybe you saw it when you watched gameplay of it. There's a card in Hunter called Explosive Trap. An Explosive Trap reads, after something attacks your face, deal 2 damage to all enemies, which is a card that has been in the game literally since it's been classic. Flame Ward was like mage's take on it. It's the best card here by a mile. Like it really is. Good card. Really good card. Cha-ching. Love it. Sun Fury Clergy. 3 mana 2/4 battle cry. Restore 3 health to all friendly characters. Ooh, nice. Mana Thirst. What's wrong with getting 3 health back? Oh, nice. Nice. Mana Thirst. Restore 6 health instead. Is Mana Thirst? Let me guess. Okay. Let me guess. 6 unused mana crystals when you play this? Very close. It's as long as you have 6 mana crystals. So even if the mana is used, as long as you have 6 crystals, you will get the Mana Thirst proc. Ruined Orb. Deal 2 damage. Oh, nice. Discover a spell for 2 mana. So discover a spell? That's just any mage spell in the current standard. Just a random spell just is like, here you go? No, you get to discover it. So you get 3 options and then you can pick the one you want. Okay, 3 random options, not your deck, just mage cards. It will, okay. If it's from your deck, it will say discover a spell from your deck, just for future reference. Oh, okay. So it is 2 damage, draw a card. In a sense, kinda. Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Tainted Remnant is a 5 mana 7/4 elemental with battle cry. If you played an elemental last turn, deal 7 damage randomly split between all enemies. Randomly split between all enemies. Okay. Huh. This curves perfectly with the 4 mana 2/3 that does 2 damage 3 times. It does.
Now, I want to make something clear to you. I said to you that there's not been an elemental deck for the Wicker Flame because a rotation happened.
My brain just wants to say Clergy is boring. But restoring health, I actually noticed is like pretty, like it's decent in Hearthstone. It's not as bad as it seems. Ruined Orb is just good, solid little rate machine. You know, it's just fine. It's good. I'm gonna go with the most recent card this time. Give me the Tainted Remnant. I feel like that it's got the highest upside.
The most recent card. Okay, I'll start off with the Tainted Remnant. The card is not good.
Okay. No.
Okay, so for context, I think in a vacuum, if there was like infinite elementals, this card is actually good. The real problem with this card is actually the elemental package is just not great enough for a Tainted Remnant. People tried it, they did do support for it, but it just really hasn't hit it. Sun Fury Clergy. Oh my god, I said the same thing as you. Clergy was actually not a bad card either. It mainly saw play in like slower control decks. Obviously, it was really good with Prince Renethal. You remember Prince Renethal, the guy who made your deck 40 and you had 40 health for a little bit and eventually 35. It's not playing like that kind of deck, right? If you needed that extra minion or the extra health, it's just fine. It is what it is. Ruined Orb by far was the best card here. It saw play in every single mage deck when it was released because
I should have gone with it.
It just was good. It was just a good card. Yeah.
A good card.
I don't disagree with you. Like if there was a good elemental deck, like this card's insane. There are times where I've lost to an elemental mage deck, but like that's the one-off chance, right? And it's because of this card purely. Oh, okay. So this is the first time we get to see a card that we've already seen. So now you have to decide, is this card better than the other two? Because it wasn't better than Flame Ward.
Elemental Allies is a 1 mana for a spell that has side quest. Play an elemental 2 turns in a row. Garbage. Bronze Gatekeeper is a 3 mana 2/5 magnetic taunt. Magnetic is if you have a mech on board, has to be a mech. You can put this to the left of it and it will absorb its stats and keyword. Ooh, interesting.
It will just absorb it pretty much is a good way because it gets enchantments too, I believe.
They Voltron.
Yeah, they Voltron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, it might be life sentence. Now the Bronze Gatekeeper, I'm not sure what the other mech is that you're magnetic linked to, but this again, it feels to me like a card designed for another format, designed for Arena or something like that.
The good thing about magnetic is that you can almost look at it as charge, or because you're adding 2/5 stats to a minion that can already attack. Just so you understand a little bit more, because like it doesn't get summon sickness if you attach it to another minion because it gets absorbed by that minion.
Are the mechs good enough? I guess that's the other question I don't know, but that does seem much cooler now that you put it that way. It's close to Mutate in MTG. I don't think I'm picking Life Sentence, and I refuse to believe that Elemental Allies has anything good about it. So I'll go with the mechs. Give me the Gatekeeper.
I can't believe you didn't even really think about Elemental Allies. All right, it was playable and it was good in an elemental mage deck that was actually playable during Descent of Dragons.
They had good elemental cards.
I told you Dark Reaper was already a good elemental from Ungoro. Bronze Gatekeeper in Standard was, I think, maybe played. It was definitely a part of like a mech hunter deck, so you could argue which was a very good deck. That it was the better card in this particular circumstance. We're talking about like what was the best deck in the format, because Mech Hunter was really good, but it wasn't like the best part of the deck. So I'm actually going to give this to Elemental Allies here. Like
that sounds biased. I demand a recount. Where's my Mech Hunter mains at in the chat?
I'm so confident that people will agree with me on that, by the way.
You?
I'm so confident.
Let them know, comments. Let them know.
Look who's back. All right. Holy shit, this one's going to be great. I'm going to just tell you this right now so you know. Frenzy is this minion takes damage and survives.
Oh, if it takes damage that it survives, not necessarily when it takes any, like you can still hit it for 4 and it dies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to survive.
Okay. All right. Pandaren Importer is a 2 mana 1/3 with Battlecry. Discover a spell that didn't start in your deck. Okay. Value. Let's go. Triple-Wick Trickster is dead to me. And Sunwell Initiate is a 3-mana 3/4 with Frenzy, gain Divine Shield. And it's neutral? Like Divine Shield, I guess, plays well in minion combat, but we've kind of gone back and forth on how much of Hearthstone is minion combat based. A random spell, though, might just be so completely useless and not synergize with your deck. So I do see that there's a ton of potential downside with this pick. I might just be underestimating the Sunwell Initiate a lot. God, am I really taking this goofy looking panda? Yeah, give me the importer. Give it to me. Give me a card that didn't even start in my deck.
Why
That's
is
where
this
we
so
are.
goofy? She looks fine, right? No? Okay. All right, let's go through this. So we all know your best friend Trickster here. Sunwell Initiate is a good arena card, but in standard, like there's just better 3-drops. So Pandurian Importer is the best card here. It actually did see play in standard, and even though it's not the greatest 2-drop, it was fine. You were
Never didn't have it. Perfect.
In arena too, I think it is the best one. I'm not sure. Maybe the Trickster's better. Okay. We got some bangers here.
Whelp Wrangler is a 2-mana 2/3. At the end of your turn, get a 1/2 Whelp with Taunt. At the every single one of your turns?
Yeah.
Forensic Duster is a 3-mana 3/4 battle cry. Your opponent's minions cost 1 more next turn. I mean, it's no Loatheb. It's not bad, though. I mean, we don't have any in our draft pool, but I bet there are 4-mana minions that you'd want to play. Fog Sail Freebooter is 2 mana for a 2/2 pirate with battle cry. If you have a weapon equipped, deal 2 damage. Well, we learned about these pirates and these weapons from the, what was it called? South Sea Deckhand. And we figured out that getting weapons equipped wasn't too hard. Some people do it as a hero power. It's just a thing they do. The Whelp Wrangler is, it's kind of a crazy, it seems like an amazing rate, really. Like 2 mana for a 2/3 and a 1/2 with Taunt. It's hard for me because I just see like the Wrangler as an ongoing thing, but if they clear it, you didn't get value. Whereas the pirate, you play it, you kill something, or even as face damage is something. Yeah, I feel like these are all good cards under the right circumstances, but I'm going to go with the Freebooter.
Okay. This one is, you're right. This is actually really interesting. I'll start with the Duster. Duster, unfortunately, did not see like any play in standard. I think it saw play in arena because it affects because it only affects minions. It's much easier just to play a spell when your opponent plays this against you in standard because you have probably better options. But in arena, this could be backbreaking because you technically could lose a turn depending if you're trying to play a 3-drop, right? But standard didn't see a ton of play. So this gets a little strange because I feel like both of these cards were pretty great between Whelp Wrangler and Fogsail Freebooter, but I am going to give the edge to Whelp Wrangler, and let me explain why. There is a card that was just added into Whizbang's workshop called Zarimi. And what Zarimi does, before it was nerfed, it's still played now, but it said after you play 5 dragons, you play this once per game, you get an extra turn. So you wanted to play dragons as fast as possible. And Whelp Wrangler is a really good way of getting dragons in the early game. That is a deck that plays for aggression anyways to kill your opponent on turn 6. Fogsail Freebooter is not a bad card either, though. It did see a lot of play, but I don't think the decks it was really in were at a higher tier than Whelp Wrangler. In this case, because they're actually pretty close, I have to give it to the deck. Whelp Wrangler in the Zarimi deck was a tier 1 deck. It's still very good right now. I don't know a tier 1 deck that Fogsail Freebooter was in. It's just a fine card. Both of these are. This is a really, so the cool thing about this, I haven't really brought it up, is I would have never shown you any of these cards for the record. Like this is the circumstance where like a lot of these formats, you're seeing cards I would have never shown you because people wouldn't have considered them cool or whatever. Because like you could look at them and go like, they're not that exciting, right? But it's interesting to hear your thought process going into which one you actually think was better. Before this expansion, I think I would have given you this for sure. But just because Zarimi came out, this card has been very good recently.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that idea of like getting a bunch of dragons to do the cool thing too. That sounds fun.
That card is fucking broken, just for the record. Thank God they nerfed